I've been talking a lot about, I guess, stuff that some people probably find horrifically boring, but the reception on the last few videos I've done, they've done quite well. If you haven't seen them, click up here. There's another 2 videos where I'm talking about YouTube as a platform and how it's changing and how it's actually so fascinating, and I'm obsessed with analytics. Another thing that I get asked a lot is, how do I start? How do I get on radio? How do I start a YouTube channel? And how do I make a podcast? Oh, that is a hard question to answer because I don't know. I started radio back in 2010. The industry and the way entertainment is consumed has completely changed, which means it's a lot harder to get into TV and radio. In my personal opinion, that's what I think. I mean, I love my job, but I know how hard you had to work to get a name for yourself, or you know, I did, I want to say about 5 years of community radio, which is working for nothing. I had a show, I worked at 2RRR in Gladesville and FBI in Sydney, and that was by far like some of the funnest times I ever had. But that got my experience up enough to get into a very prominent radio school called AFTIS, and then from there I got a job in the industry being paid. Now, it was a terrible wage, and I did way more hours than I needed to because I knew I had a real basic job when I first started, and I knew to progress, I had to be learning other things. So I would do a lot of extra work, which I really enjoyed, and that's how I managed to sort of try all these different facets of radio until I landed basically a role in the digital team, which was making videos. To get into radio now, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Be on a reality show. But I feel like the experience I learnt from going in at a very low level and growing and seeing all the different departments and experiencing a lot of different areas of radio, I quickly discovered that I'm actually not suited to radio at all. Radio is not for me. Oh my God. That will be the police coming to arrest me for boring content. So for those that want to get into radio, I don't know anymore. It's changed so much from the days when I got into radio. And people, arrest me, officer. Oh, well, that's a yes, I take it. I also feel like the entertainment industry is on demand, it's instant, and it's now. And our perception of being on radio or TV is also instant and now, and we want to present a show right now. We want to do this right now. Before, many years ago, you used to get into radio at a regional level, which was out in the middle of nowhere, and you'd do a show and you'd literally do all the work at this station. It's skeleton staff out regionally, and they do a lot of work. And then from there, you talk to people who work in a big metro market, you show them your demos, you do all this stuff, and then they hire you to be an announcer at the bigger station. A lot of people go on a reality show and they build up a fan base, and you get to know them on TV. And so that's why they get hired in radio, because they've already got an audience and you already know how they think and act. So you know these people. So that's why I feel like radio hires a lot of reality TV stars. And that's why my advice, if you want to get into radio, is to run away and never look back. But then I usually follow it up with, well, why do you want to get into radio? Because you want to entertain people. You can do that on a podcast, right? You can make your own podcast, control your own narrative and your content. I do know people want instant success and they want things to happen right now. Also, you procrastinate so much. I procrastinated. I didn't want to start a YouTube channel. I always wanted to podcast, and then I was trying to work out who would I podcast with and what would I do. Then I realized I'll just start a YouTube channel. I don't know what I'm going to film. And if you go to some of my earlier videos, they are trash. They're so bad. And then when I started podcasting, I didn't tell anyone. I recorded like 25 episodes before I sort of publish them or put them out. You really need to market yourself. Radio taught me that you need to be your biggest supporter and your biggest fan. No one will discover you. You need to push yourself out there in front of as many eyes as possible. Now, that can be really daunting in the early days. And I always say this to people. If you want to start a YouTube channel or a podcast and you publish your first episode or your first video, and then you push it to everyone, right? You've only given them one thing to listen to. What you should do is publish a bunch of videos Get your groove, find your rhythm. Same with podcasting. Do a bunch of episodes. Then when you're happy, push that out to family and friends, right? And then when they come to your channel, you've got 10, 20 videos that they can trawl through and really enjoy. And they can see that you've actually really developed into this character, or you found your niche, or you really know what you're doing. If you expose yourself too early, I think you'll lose a lot of people because there's no momentum in whatever you're doing. Now, that is just my theory. Don't worry about quality. You can record a podcast on your phone. You can also record a video on your phone. It's not bad if you do that. You can also edit. There's a program called Video Leap, which I find so good. It's just an app on my phone. And you can edit videos on that. And obviously, video tutorials on YouTube will be so helpful. And so what I say to anyone who wants to get on TV and radio is start your own little media empire. Have a go at podcasting. You'll learn how to tell stories. You'll learn... No, that's where I think what I've learned from radio has benefited me so much. The ability to tell a story, because what radio has taught me is it's not a visual platform. So you need to be really descriptive and you need to describe what's going on. So that's really helped me in podcasting, is to get into the mind of a listener. And they can't see what you're doing, and you need to explain things quite well. And YouTube, here's the gripe that I have with a lot of YouTubers. They repeat themselves so much. There's a lot of just unnecessary things left in videos. I live in a really bad neighborhood. Radio taught me how to talk to an audience, right? You guys. I hate it when people say, hey, you guys, because it's so impersonal, right? I'm talking to you, just you, on your phone, on your computer, watching this video. I am just talking to you. You're not watching it with a whole collection of people. I mean, some people do. But ultimately, you're watching this on your phone, alone in a room, right? So I'm talking to you. When you hear a YouTuber say, hey, you guys, you're looking at it and you're immediately put into a whole collection of people. I hate that because I'm talking to you, right? I'm not talking to you guys, hey everyone, like everyone. No, there's only one person watching this video. And that's what radio taught me. It pisses me off so much. Oh, this is going to become a rant of things YouTubers do that piss me off. I think that's just the radio part of me that has been drilled into me. You know, people only will sit through 3.5 minutes, 5 minutes. But on YouTube, I've noticed people are willing to sit through... Oh, Shane Dawson is a prime example. He's done like 40, 50-minute videos, and I still find them too short. I love watching his stuff. And Facebook, it's all been about quick content that's deliverable. And no one really does any long form on Facebook. And YouTube is a platform to go for long form content. YouTube want you to make longer videos. It has a better watch time. People want to see more. This perception that I have from radio to keep things really quick and edit is sort of very contradicted by what YouTube tells me to do. I'm supposed to be telling you how to do YouTube. Honestly, it's all subjective and it's all trial and error. It's doing things you think will work, and if they don't work, adapting it. Changing. Don't be afraid to try other things. As this series, I call it a series, it's just a different, I'm just doing different type of content. You also need to try a lot of new things because you will get bored. You will find that being Trish over and over and over again can be boring. But just because you are bored of something doesn't mean your audience is. So I don't find Trish boring, but I've just done Trish so much that I'm not getting the enjoyment out of her. Well, that sounds a bit weird. That I did early on. Sounds like a marriage. And so now I've introduced the Sabrina character, which is the makeup guru, which, as you can see, can you see it? I've still got lip liner here on my eye. She's a real great beauty guru. She puts a lip liner on her eye. Should I link the video? Is it here? Oh, you know how I know which side to point to? Because it's confusing, because if I'm looking at the screen, it's here, but then it's reversed, so it's here. I use my finger with a welt on it. My welt finger is where I know the little card thing will come in. The other thing that I'm concerned is I'm not changing the content. I'm still doing Trish. Sabrina's coming in. I need to bring back Tiffany. Tiffany's my favourite character. If you want to start YouTube, my biggest bit of advice, and it came from Lily Singh, when I used to work on a radio show that interviewed a lot of YouTubers, Lily Singh said, just start. Just start. Don't procrastinate, just start. Don't try and come up with something because you'll just talk yourself down all the time. Just start recording. Back yourself in. Just do it. I will leave you with an incredible story that I heard from a conference I went to about James Dyson. Oh, boring, a vacuum cleaner. So he invented the bagless vacuum cleaner. And he actually took his idea to, I want to say Hoover. It was the biggest vacuum cleaner company in the UK. And he said, I've invented a bagless vacuum cleaner, which is going to revolutionise how people vacuum, because we don't need to buy bags to put it in, because bags are annoying and they're expensive. And Hoover said to him, oh, why would we get rid of bags? We make a lot of money from selling bags to people. And he was like, well, now people don't have to buy bags because they're expensive, and why would you not want to help the consumer? And Hoover said, get out of my office. And James said, stuff you. And so he released the Dyson, the bagless vacuum cleaner, to which now is the go-to vacuum cleaner. And that story had nothing to do... That story had nothing to do with anything, but I just really like it. I really like the fact that James Dyson backed himself in. He tried to sell his ideas. He got turned away, and then he created this successful brand. Now, maybe that is my point. I got into radio. I wanted to be Kyle Sandilands, who I love. And I know people don't like him. I love Kyle. I wanted to be, Sydney's biggest breakfast announcer on radio, and it just never happened. And so I started a podcast and a YouTube channel and a Facebook page. And now I've built an audience. So what I'm trying to say is I am James Dyson, a successful multimillionaire who is smart. That was my point. Anyway. Food's ready.